one of the races this year, but he lost it as they went through corner number 1, and we're going to give the nod to number 31. Doug Henry is fresh off an outdoor National 125 win, and that had to, Marty, give him a ton of confidence.
He's riding with a lot of confidence right now. Right now, the rider behind him, Brian Swink, has also got a lot of confidence in any stadium event. Even though he hasn't won any outdoor events, he's got a lot of confidence inside, Larry.
Well, Brian Swink has already won 3 125 main events this year, and he is leading the championship points standings in this Eastern Regional contest. I think probably we can say that Swink is the class rider in the field. He's closing on Henry, and he's trying to set him up for some kind of a pass maneuver. Now, what is he going to do for the next couple of laps? Look at this. I was talking about setting him up, and already he's gone to work on him. He's not waiting. I would have thought that Swink would have followed, but Swink drives to the inside. Swink side by side with Doug Henry as they go through that treacherous section of jumps on the uphill, and Brian Swink, he just put the moves on him. He got to the stop. He's to the top of the hill, rather, and stopped, Marty, and he would not allow Doug Henry to cut back to the inside. Now, that was some kind of a motocross move.
Well, okay, right there. Swink has the inside. He's got the upper hand. All he has to do is stay on the inside. Doug Henry can do nothing but just watch.
But he wanted to square it off and shoot back to the inside of Swink, but Swink wouldn't let him. That was an unusual move. You wouldn't expect something that unusual, I think, for a rider that is that young.
Well, Larry, that's one of the slower sections on the course, and on a normal Supercross course, there's not many of that slow sections, so it enabled him, Swink, to do a pass like that.
Well, it was just an outstanding, and again, I point out what happened after the pass was the key to the whole thing. Back in the number 3 position, we're looking at Cliff Palmer, rather, being challenged by Talon Boland. The Team Suzukis are at it with each other on this racetrack. So out front we have Brian Swink running in the number 2 position, Doug Henry, and this is the battle for the number 3 spot. Palmer has held it since this one was underway, but there goes Boland to the inside, and Boland gets the traction to the ground. He overhauls Palmer, and he takes over the number 3 position. Let's go back and take another look, Marty, at the pass that Boland put on Cliff Palmer. Here they go off the finish line jump. What's he doing?
Well, right now he's already setting him up before the finish line jump. He's fully got the drive on him coming out of that turn.
He went high while Palmer went low and squared it off up on top, and boy, did he ever have the drive. I don't think Palmer knew what hit him. Brian Swink, meanwhile, making hay as the proverbial sun shines. From nearby Fenton, Michigan, he has the cheers of the crowd in the Pontiac Superdome behind him, and he is making the most of it. This guy is flat running away from the rest of the field.
He's riding really smooth right now. He knows he's in full command. I don't think you'll see any falter in this guy at all tonight.
Marty, can you look at a rider that young and say, there goes a future national champion?
He's just one of those guys I pointed out earlier that should be in the 250 class. He's picking up a lot of experience. He's been around for a long time on the amateur circuit, but he's picking up so much experience in the stadium that I think that he should be in the 250 class.
Well, I think probably there are a lot of riders on the track in this 125 class that would agree with you, Marty. We'll be back with the conclusion of the 125 race.
The Pontiac Superdome. This is the 125cc main event. It's round 10 of the Camel Supercross Series for the 125 class. We're looking at the 5th of 11 events. We'll be into the 10th in the 250 class. The reason for that is the 125s are running regionals. 125 East, 125 West. This is an Eastern event. And the rider out front, rider number 42, is Brian Swink. He's the series points leader and leading here in the Silverdome. If you've just joined us, I'm Larry Myers. With me, Marty Smith, retired Supercross star. And Marty, boy, they do things a little bit different today than they did back in your day. Tracks are a little bit rougher. Of course, the bikes are built to accommodate them. But the objective is still to win, and in order to do that, you've got to have the desire, and that's what you had and so many champions since you.
Well, Larry, there's a lot of desire out there, too. Back when I raced, there was probably 10 or 15 guys that had the desire. Now it seems like the desire's all the way down the line.
Rider number 31 holding down the number 2 position. That's Doug Henry from the East Coast. Henry fresh off a win in the 125cc National Championship Outdoor Series in Sacramento just a few weeks ago. And he's filling the pep and vigor of that one. He's in second. Way out front, of course, was Brian Swink. Doug Henry running second, and back in the number 3 position, Talon Boland, number 19. And behind him, Jeremy Buell, rider number 25. Now, Brian Swink is racing under considerable pressure. There's Talon Boland running third. Swink is a hometown favorite, number 1. Number 2, he's the series points leader, so Brian Swink with a lot to lose or gain out here. And there is Swink. Earlier, we asked him about that fact. Is it just another race out here in the Silverdome, or maybe is it something special? Here's what he had to say.
I'm looking forward to coming back to Michigan and riding in front of all my home fans. I haven't did it since I was an amateur, and I hope just to do well and win in front of all these people.
In front of the hometown crowd, Swink is getting the job done. And Marty, for what it's worth, you never had the opportunity to race in your hometown, San Diego. You did win, though, in nearby Anaheim, California, but I think it's not quite the same. And I've got to believe that there's some pressure on the kid.
Well, it can go both ways, like I said earlier. Sometimes it makes him, it helps the guy, gives him a little advantage. Other times, if the guy lets the pressure get to him, maybe the hometown could be a disadvantage to him.
Well, not to harp on that subject, because all of the riders deny it. Brian Swink, Jeff Stanton, the rest of them say, no, it doesn't bother me, just another race. I'm going to go out there and ride as hard as I can. Don't you believe it? Second place with about 3 laps to go in this one, rider number 31, Doug Henry. Now, the riders that you see immediately behind Henry, number 54, is a lap rider. That's Jeff Glass. He is a lap down behind Glass. Number 19 is the third place motorcycle, and that one belongs to Talon Boland. Henry looks to be getting tired or a little bit on the sloppy side. He's made a couple of mistakes this last lap, Marty.
He is. There's really nobody right behind him, except he doesn't realize how close Talon is. Talon's sneaking up on him, but he doesn't realize it yet.
Well, he can't afford to relax. He's got to keep his concentration on the racetrack. He needs to keep his concentration on matters at hand. He shouldn't be counting that trip to the victory rostrum just yet, because there is Talon Boland. Now Boland has passed that lap rider, and we had just a quick shot of the gap between them. Here comes Boland into the screen and now directly behind him. We're looking at a couple of laps remaining. I think the next time around they may get the white flag. We'll keep our eye on the starter and see as they cross that finish line jump. But there is the difference. Doug Henry, number 31. Now watch. And here he comes, number 19. Into your screen at the bottom is Talon Boland in third. Boland is putting on a charge with just a couple of laps remaining in this one. Swink, meanwhile, headed toward the finish line jump, and there out of the corner of the screen you saw that white flag. That indicates the last lap. And the white flag given to Henry and Boland. This is it. It's called crunch time. They flashed by the mechanics area, and if Henry did not know it, he knows it now. He knows because his mechanic was jumping up and down and screaming that he has company. Here comes Boland up to the rear wheel of Doug Henry. Less than 2 bike lengths separating first and second. Let's make that a bike length as they head down the peristyle section of the track, the grandstand section of the track, built right up into the seats. Back down again, a unique factor, but not appearing to bother anyone other than the fact that there's one more obstacle on the track. Doug Henry holding down the number 2 position, and here comes Boland continuing to charge. Marty, can he do it?
Henry's feeling some pressure. He's riding really strong. It doesn't look like it's bothering him at all.
He picked up the pace. Doug Henry actually picked up the pace and is pulling away from Boland. Here, the winner is going to be Brian Swink as he heads up that finish line jump, and look at that. He is pumped and happy, a wave to the crowd. And second place going out to Henry. Third place will be Talon Boland. Meanwhile, Wendy Walsh is with our winner. Let's go to Wendy.
Brian, you maintained your standing as the points leader, and you really were riding like you want that series bad.
Yeah, I'm going to do everything I can to win it. I got a pretty good lead now. I don't know what Jeremy finished, but I should be at least 1 race ahead.
That's right. Well, here he is, the winner of the 125 main here tonight in Pontiac, Michigan. Back to you, Larry.
Well, thank you very much, Wendy, and our congratulations to Brian Swink. He was followed across the finish line by Doug Henry, Boland, Jeremy Buell, and Ryan Hughes. That rounds out the top 5. Here are the standings. It's Swink on top, teammate Buell in second, Henry, Boland, and Hughes. And we'll be back with the more Supercross 91, the Ultimate Challenge. The 250 main is next. Welcome back to Supercross 91, the Ultimate Challenge. We're just in time for the Coors Light Challenge, the main event in this 250 class. The riders are on the line, some of them still on the track in their parade lap. Now, before we get to the action, here's how they made it into the main event. A couple of heat races, and from the 2 heat races, the top 4 transfer automatically to the main. Now, those that do not make it go into 2 semifinals. From the semis, we take the top 5 finishers. Still one last chance to make it, and you know what that's called, the last chance qualifier. From that last chance qualifier, the top 2 finishers go into the main. That gives us the full lineup of 20 riders, and here's a look at some of the action that took place earlier today. This is heat race number 1. Now, Steve Lamson is going to get the whole shot, but it's what happens behind Lamson. There it is, a crash on the part of Jeff Stanton that is the important thing in heat race number 1. Let's watch again. Stanton is on the outside. He just got clipped. You can see him now. His bike is wiggling back and forth. He's not tracking well at all. He's going to come up short on this jump. He nosedives into the face of that double jump. He plants his shoulder into the ground, hit very, very hard, and as a result, Stanton started to pull off the track. Now, here he is. He's going around very, very slowly. You can see him. He took his left hand off the bar. He's just letting it rest in his lap, obviously in pain. Race action going on, but Stanton wants no part of it. Pulled into the pits, talks to his mechanic, Danny Bentley, and Jeff says, well, let me go out and try it one more time. We'll see what happens. So he starts the motorcycle up. Roger DeCosta, one of the team advisors, come over to see what the problem might be. Stanton gave it a shot, but no dice. Pulled into the pit area, and obviously in pain. Look at him holding on to that left arm. No movement whatsoever. Problem turned out to be, we found out later after he went to the hospital, had it checked out, that he was suffering a separated shoulder. So that pretty much took care of Stanton for the evening, and it was questionable whether or not he would be back for the second half of this Pontiac doubleheader. And an incident like that, well, it could ruin the entire season for Stanton, who's looking for this 3rd championship in a row. Now watch Jeff Ward. He had his problems. Look at that. That was a battle in the number 2 position. Way out front was Mike Kidrowski. He's got this one in the bag. But Jeff Ward, he'd no kind of luck at all. Ward is out of this one. And watch it again. We're going to see him come up to the face of this jump. And watch what happens. He's in this whoop-de-doo section. He loses control, jumps off the motorcycle, plants his body very hard. The bike flips end over end and off the side of the jump. That could have hurt someone. Now, that's not the first problem that Ward has had this year. Look at this. This is from Orlando. All by himself. He landed wrong, got the wheels twisted up in a rut, and in Orlando, Ward was history. Now let's go to Houston, Texas. Here he is off that big double jump, and he just lands wrong, pitches it sideways, and hits the ground very hard. Now that's not anything. Watch what happens in San Diego. Comes around the corner, gets twisted up in a rut, and Ward goes down again. One of the premier racers in the world, Ward is having his problems. Back to Pontiac at heat race number 1. This is the battle for the number 2 position. Denny Stevenson is currently in 2nd. Mike Fisher is in 3rd. LaRocco 4th. But watch this. Fisher has no intention of staying in that number 3 position. A little bump and run tactic there. He takes over 2nd while LaRocco goes to 3rd. Let's look at it again from another angle. Here comes Fisher to the inside. Just pushes Stevenson out of the way, and that gave LaRocco the momentum to get by on the inside. So as we head for the white flag, there it is on the right-hand side of your screen, indicating 1 lap remaining. It's Kidrowski way out front. Mike Fisher in number 14 on the KTM in 2nd. LaRocco aboard the Suzuki in 3rd, and in 4th place, Denny Stevenson also on a Suzuki. Now, there are 3 important factors that come out of the heat race. The top 4, of course, go to the main event. The second factor would be the better a rider finishes, the better pick he will have, the earlier pick he will have on the gate for that main event. Now, the third factor in heat race competition, as we take a look at Mike Kidrowski, who is leading heat race number 1, is the Coors Light Silver Bullet Showdown. The rider that turns in the fastest heat race time of the night gets a point. He gets a silver bullet point. Now, at the end of the year, the rider that accumulates the most Coors Light Silver Bullet Showdown points will be eligible for a $25,000 bonus from Coors Light. So Kidrowski takes heat race number 1. His time, 7:33.63. 7:33.63. And following Kidrowski across the line, and they go to the main event with Kidrowski, Mike Fisher in 2nd, Mike LaRocco 3rd, and Denny Stevenson. Second heat race, that was number 8, Jean-Michel Bale, the series points leader. Number 7 is Jeff Natasevich. Number 11, Damon Bradshaw. Rider number 5 is Guy Cooper. You have to wonder what is running through Jean-Michel Bale's mind right now. He has an opportunity tonight to pick up a passel of points over the rider who was in 2nd place in the series coming into this Pontiac event. That was Jeff Stanton. And as we saw earlier, Stanton injured, and he's going to miss this race tonight. Now, here's the early going. Heat race number 2, Damon Bradshaw, the Yamaha rider out of Charlotte, North Carolina, 18 years old. grabs the hole shot. He's followed closely by Jeff Matasevich. Now they're shooting for this Coors Silver Bullet, the Coors Light Silver Bullet Showdown. And to the time that they have to beat 7 minutes, 33 and 63 100ths of a second. That's the time that will get them a point in the race for the $25,000. Bradshaw, coming into this event, had not picked up a point so far this year. Matasevich, on the other hand, had 3. Stanton had 3. And Jean-Michel Bale, who was running back in the pack, currently battling with Guy Cooper. And there was the pass that Bale made on Cooper to take over the number 3 position. Bale has 2 silver bullet points. Bale's not going to be happy with that. He's going to try to work his way to the front of the pack and challenge these 2 riders for supremacy on this Pontiac track. Damon Bradshaw, rider number 11 out front, and Jeff Matasevich, rider number 7, holding down the number 2 position. Now, these 2 riders have had their conflicts over the years, and we've got a good one coming up for you. Just keep your eyes glued to the screen. There's Bradshaw completing a lap. He goes over that big finish line jump, and he's being watched carefully by Jeff Matasevich. Now, watch this. Matasevich runs it to the inside of the racetrack. A little bit of bump and run, a bump and shove, and Bradshaw finds himself off the racetrack, trying to get himself back in gear to get back into the heat of the battle of this one, but it's going to be to no avail. He's way back in the back, no chance of transferring out of the heat race. He is going to have to go into the semifinals. Matasevich, meanwhile, has clear sailing ahead. He took a look over his shoulder, looking for the rest of the pack, looking for some kind of competition that maybe would quicken his pace and send him a little bit closer to that Coors Light Silver Bullet Showdown point. Let's go back and take another look at the incident. Watch this. Matasevich to the inside. His rear wheel came around. He got into a slide and just clipped Bradshaw's rear wheel. And who knows, at that point, Bradshaw maybe could have gotten on the brakes and saved it, but Bradshaw's just as aggressive as Matasevich, and he was probably thinking he was going to power out of it, and the 2 of them would head down that set of whoop-de-doos and jump side by side. So Matasevich out front, clear sailing ahead, absolutely no one to challenge the Kawasaki rider out of Anaheim, California. And there again, Matasevich casts a look back at the pack to see if anyone is closing or anyone is charging. Now, he is not going to get off the gas. He is going to continue running just as hard as he possibly can. He's looking for that Coors Light Silver Bullet Showdown point. The time that he has to beat, 7:33.63. That was the time turned in by his teammate and the winner of heat race number 1, Mike Kidrowski. Matasevich with no competition in this one. Clear track ahead. He's just keeping it turned up. He's tending to business, not showing off at all for the crowd. Final set of whoop-de-doos, and he's going to win the Coors Light Silver Bullet Showdown point for the evening with 7:24.03. Here's Jean-Michel Bale. He'll finish in the runner-up position in heat race number 2. So it was Jeff Matasevich, followed by Bale, Cooper, and Larry Ward. Let's go down to Wendy Walsh, who is with our winner.
Thanks, Larry. Kawasaki's Jeff Matasevich. Jeff, how about that pass?
You know, we just both went in the corner at the same time. I don't know what happened to Damon. I guess he fell from the sounds of it, but it wasn't dirty. It wasn't anything. You know, he kept the gas on. I kept the gas on, and he ended up going down.
That's too bad. Well, we will see you in the main. Back to you up top, Larry.
Thank you, Wendy. Well, Matasevich may have thought that it wasn't anything. I believe those were his words. Bradshaw disagreed after the interview. Matasevich went back to the pit area to be confronted by a rather angry Damon Bradshaw. Here are the 2 of them talking it out. Bradshaw on the right with no shirt. Here's Matasevich saying, just got yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time. And the rider they call Chicken gets a handshake from the Kawasaki camp. Bradshaw, well, he'll just have to wait for another day and another time. And with that heat race win, Jeff Matasevich takes control of the Coors Light Silver Bullet Showdown point standings, followed by Stanton and Bale. Now, earlier today, we took a close-up look at that fun-loving guy, Jeff Matasevich. Here it is.
Is this a fashion statement, this
No, it's cold outside. This is chicken style. You want to talk a little about it? Go ahead. We have Oakley goggles that I wear. Some people wear Scotch. Everything we have on, we get paid for. They can make whatever colors I want.
Yes, show it to us.
Tahiti, Coors Light, Pine Star boots, Camel, AMA, and I have a lot of other sponsors that... Yeah, I was, I'm supposed to have it on.
So Matasevich smiles, and Bradshaw says, deal the cards. That's Bradshaw, rider number 11. He's on the gate for one of the semi-final events. If he wants to make it into the main, he has to finish in the semi in the top 5. We're going to show you a little bit of the action in the semi-final number 2. That's where Bradshaw was. That's Jeff Emig, a teammate of Bradshaw's. On the right, rider number 18. Emig grabbed the whole shot and was the leader throughout the early going of this semi-final. Bradshaw spent just a few corners studying the lines of Jeff Emig, then said thank you very much. That's the part of the track where he was pushed off by Matasevich and ended up on the ground, but not this time. So this is how Bradshaw treats the entire incident. He says, I'm out in front. I'm going to give the crowd just a little bit of a show and give them their money's worth. Though he takes the win in semifinal number 2. Absolutely no problem as he wheelies down that long starting straightaway. And the crowd, I want to tell you, they were standing and cheering. Look at that. Talk about pumped up. Well, Bradshaw gave them the show they were looking for as he wiggles the bike in midair, flops it from side to side, does cross-ups, does wheelies. He waved at the crowd and gave him that number 1, said, hey, I might not have made it out of the heat race, but y'all know who I am, and I'll be back. There'll be another time and another day. Damon Bradshaw, one of the elite, one of the true showmen in Supercross competition, and probably one of the true showmen in the world aboard a motorcycle, if the truth be known. Bradshaw heads for the checkered flag. Spectacular cross-up with feet off the pegs to take the win. Here's how they finished in semifinal number 1. It was DeHoop, Lamson, Ward, Fred Andrews, and Keith Johnson. Semi number 2, Bradshaw, Emig, Tishner, Matson, and Coleman. They'll go into the main event. That action coming up very shortly. Be sure to stay with us. We'll be right back for more Supercross 91, the Ultimate Challenge. Supercross 91, the Ultimate Challenge. I'm Larry Myers, with me Marty Smith. We're in the Pontiac Silverdome, the Coors Light Challenge. The main event is just about set to get underway. The crowd cheering their favorites as they take one final look at the racetrack. The ruts, the bumps, the jumps, and all of the corners in preparation for this main event. Now here are the standings in the Camel Supercross Series. Jean-Michel Bayle is on top, followed by Stanton, the defending champ, Mike Kidrowski, Matasevich, and Bradshaw. There is Jean-Michel Bayle, rider number 8, and Stanton will not be riding. A separated shoulder suffered in one of the earlier heat races took him out of contention. Now before we get into this main event, let's go to St. Petersburg 1 week ago and check out the action there. The final race of the first half of the Camel Supercross Series was full of excitement that kept the crowd on their feet all night long. It started with the opening heat when Damon Bradshaw made a last-ditch effort to improve his transfer position by 1. Jeff Ward was supposed to be the victim, but it was Bradshaw that came out second best. In heat race number 2, Doug Dubach provided the excitement with this solo crash. Only Dubach's pride was injured, so he tried again in one of the semifinals. This time, Dubach had a little help. The results, though, were the same. Dubach was through for the night. The action, though, was not. In the early going of the main event, Bradshaw was the early leader. He was followed by Jeff Stanton. Slightly off the pace, series points leader Jean-Michel Bayle. Bayle, though, not accustomed to that position. He set his sights on the leaders, caught Stanton, made the pass, and he was in second place. Next on Bayle's list, the leader Damon Bradshaw. Again, Bayle worked his magic. The Frenchman took over the number 1 spot. Stanton, meanwhile, picked up the pace and closed on Bradshaw. But watch this. What was later diagnosed as a faulty spark plug caused Bradshaw to lose power at the wrong time, pitching the Yamaha Star into a front wheel stand and out of the race. Last lap, last corner, and the battle is for second. Stanton has it, and Mike Kidrowski wants it. He came up short, but had time to get up and finish third behind Stanton and the winner, Bayle. That's the way it went in St. Petersburg, Florida, round 9 of the Camel Supercross Series. The Coors Light Challenge about to get underway here in Pontiac, Michigan. The riders around the line. Jeff Matasevich, rider number 7. We just had a shot of Damon Bradshaw. Those two provided all kinds of fireworks earlier tonight, but this is the main event, and it's about set. Marty Smith, we have had so much excitement tonight that I don't know if there is room for a whole lot
lot more, but I have an idea that we're going to see it in this main event. It's just, you can feel a tension in the air. Jeff Stanton is out of it, but we have a ton of fine riders on the line looking to take his place. The gate is down, and we are underway. It's Damon Bradshaw, number 11 out front, and this might be the matchup, the battle that we've been looking for all season long. And Marty Smith, Jeff Mataskevich running in a number 2 position. Right behind them, Jean-Michel Bayle. Earlier, we saw the conflict between Bradshaw and Mataskevich, and we're looking at all-out warfare.
This is going to be a good race. I think Bayle's going to sit back and watch it for a few laps.
Well, if I'm Jean-Michel Bayle, I certainly think that's what I would want to do. He knows there is bad blood between the 2 riders in front of him, and he knows that, look at this, Bayle is not waiting. Bayle goes to the inside of Mataskevich. Bayle makes the pass. Unbelievable. And Mataskevich comes right back. I would think Jean-Michel Bayle would want to avoid that type of conflict, but he's sticking his wheels in all over.
Bayle's going so fast to the whoops, Larry. Like I said earlier, nobody's going faster than Bayle is to the whoops.
I just started to say that I think that Jean-Michel Bayle would like to avoid tangling with the 2 of them, and I agree with you. I'm amazed that he wouldn't wait a couple of laps to see what they're going to do, but just as we said it, Bayle stuck his wheel in and tried to make a pass. Well, they know he's there. Oh, and Bradshaw goes down. Bradshaw goes down all by himself. Unbelievable. Marty, let's take another look at that Bradshaw incident. I don't understand what happened.
Well, right now he's in full control, and all of a sudden his front end washes out. It tucks under for no apparent reason.
He's a better rider than that. I don't understand it. The slowest part of the racetrack. Mataskevich and Bayle, and look, LaRocco, they're looking over at him. They don't believe it either. It's an unbelievable situation.
You know, it's been that kind of year for Bradshaw, Larry.
Bradshaw, in 1990, the most aggressive rider on the circuit, tempered his riding style down in 91. Said he was going to stick around for a while and see how things went, and then come on strong the last half of the year. And there he goes to the inside. Jean-Michel Bayle gets an incredible drive from that low position on the track. I don't know how he does it, Marty.
That Honda just enables him. He's got a lot of torque. He's got a lot of torque on the Honda.
Well, most riders to come out of the corner that hard would have to go high like Mataskevich did. But Mataskevich almost lost the number 1 spot because Jean-Michel Bayle just tucked it to the inside, and he got on the gas awfully early and almost took over that lead. And my guess is he's going to try a pass there again the next time around. He's not going to wait. He goes to the inside in that rough part of the racetrack. But there goes Mataskevich, and Mataskevich stuffed Jean-Michel Bayle. Mataskevich said, no thanks, you're not going to get it that easy. Unbelievable race action. Jeff Mataskevich from Anaheim, California. Jean-Michel Bayle, 2 times the world champion from France. They are going at it. There he is. Look at that. He didn't get to drive that time. Mataskevich was waiting for him, and I think he got on the gas in plenty of time to be sure that he would salvage that number 1 position. Jeff Mataskevich easily riding right now as fast as I have seen him ride in 2 years. Unbelievable race action here in the Pontiac Silverdale.
You know, if Jeff can keep his concentration level within realm and not get too excited here, he could give Jean-Michel Bayle a full good race through the whole race here, Larry.
I want to give a call to rider number 6. He's just out of camera range. There he is in the back of that threesome. That's Mike LaRocco out of LaPorte, Indiana. Now, LaRocco has come from off the pace to move into that number 3 position. Marty, we have to go back to 1990 when Mike LaRocco rode that way all year long. 1991 was supposed to be his year, but LaRocco started the season injured. He's been hurt 2 times since then, but tonight he is looking good. He is moving up to challenge the front-running duo of Jeff Mataskevich out front, rider number 7, and right behind him, Jean-Michel Bayle, the series points leader. Bayle with 5 wins to his credit in this 1991 Camel Supercross season. But Mike LaRocco is closing. Mataskevich doing everything right. What is the key for Mataskevich to hold on to that position?
I think he's got to ride his own race. If he worries too much about Bayle behind him, he's going to start making mistakes. And there they go through the
Bayle to the inside. Let's see if he tries that block pass again. He's taking him up high.
Bayle was ready for it.
Bayle was waiting and ready. Bayle knew he was going to go. Now, Marty, we need to go back to take another look at both of those attempted passes. They're the same, but they're different. Now, here we come. Matasevich is out front. Here comes Bale lining up for that whoop section. He's got the speed. He's going to make the pass, but watch what happens. Describe it.
Larry, Bale has about 5 miles an hour on Matasevich right here, and Matasevich can't do nothing except wait for Bale to go around, and then he's going to stuff him on the outside right there.
Stuff him indeed. Look at that. That was beautiful. Okay, now the second time, the same situation, the same spot, just one lap later. Here we come through the whoops, and the riders are just about in the same position. Matasevich is still ahead, and here comes Bale at that 5-mile-per-hour greater speed. Now watch what happens, and you tell me about it.
Larry, this is almost an instant replay here, and Bale's like saying, okay, what are you going to do?
Look at this. Bale was waiting for him. Matasevich was prepared to stuff him. Bale gave himself away. He wanted to skirt to the inside, but he stopped too soon, or he could have made the pass. Unbelievable.
Well, I have to give a little experience advantage to Bale, but right now, the youth and Jeff Matasevich, you know, he's riding really well.
Well, another rider that rides really well, does it just about all the time, Marty, is Jeff Ward. He's our Brute of the Week. Watch the upcoming action from St. Petersburg, Florida, and I think you'll get the message. The battle, or the conflict, I should say, between Damon Bradshaw and Jeff Ward. That was Bradshaw that bumped Ward. He went down, and Ward looks back over his shoulder and says, "Don't mess with me, son." Let's watch it again from another angle and a close-up this time. There's Bradshaw just bumping our Brute, Jeff Ward. Watch what happens. Bradshaw goes down. Ward comes to a stop, just jams the bike back into gear. Now watch him look over his shoulder and say, that's what it's like to be the Brute of the Week. Just remember, folks, Brute, the essence of man.
He has ridden all season long. This looks like the Matasevich of 1990.
You know, Larry, Jeff looks really good tonight, but the thing we have to consider is this is one of the rougher tracks on the circuit, and fatigue may play a big part in this race.
Now, Jean-Michel Bale had a perfect opportunity to try a block pass there, and he elected to not do it. Why?
It's a hard one to figure out. I think he knows that it's not even halfway through this race yet, Larry. He's going to wait for an easier pass.
Now, Jean-Michel Bale is putting pressure on Matasevich at every piece of real estate on this racetrack. Would he try to pressure Matasevich into some kind of a mistake?
He knows what he's doing right now is pressuring Matasevich, but I think Bale is doing just what I said. He's going to try to run him down and use the length of this race to his advantage.
Well, we would have to give the nod then, if your analysis of this situation is right, we would have to give the nod to Bale, because technically Bale is the best. Oh, and he did it right there. Technically, Bale, I started to say, is the best in the world, and he's not going to make the mistakes. Matasevich, they call him Chicken, made a premium one there. He come off that motorcycle and landed hard. Jeff Matasevich, here it is. Marty, watch the monitor and tell me what happened.
Right now, Larry, it looks like he got in the air, and it looks like the front end went down, and he just bailed off it. He knew he wasn't going to make it.
Unbelievable. What does that? You miss a gear? Did he not have the power? Let's take another look, another angle.
Looks like he hit a bad spot on the jump. There's no way he could pull it off, and he tried to get away from the motorcycle.
And he took the full force, the abrupt force of that right on his ankles and feet. He rolled off to the side of the track, and Jeff Matasevich is still there, now being attended to by some of the on-track medics here in the Pontiac Silverdome. And boy, we have seen it out here tonight. Matasevich sitting up. He's obviously all right in terms of a life-threatening injury, but something could be wrong with his feet and his ankles. That we will not know for quite some time. Meanwhile, Jean-Michel Bale, he's won 5 of them this year. He's leading the series. His closest competitor, Jeff Stanton, is pretty much out of it now, unless Bale makes some kind of mistake. As we saw earlier, Stanton injured in a heat race crash. Now, to get the extent of that injury, as we see him, and that's a good sign. They're helping him off, but he's walking, Marty. Jeff Matasevich helping him back to the business. That's a good sign. Good to see him up. Now, we talked with team advisor Roger DeCoster about Jeff Stanton's situation. Here's what he had to say.
Jeff crashed in the opening lap. There was a crash in front of him. He could not avoid the bike, and he landed on his shoulder. And what I suspect is a little bit of a AC separation, which is an acromioclavicular separation. That's where collarbone attaches on the shoulder. If it is a separation, he'll probably be out at least for 2 races at best. You have to wait and see what the hospital says now. And if it is a separation, sometimes they can pin this, and he may be back in 2 or 3 weeks.
Mike LaRocco back from an injury. This is by far his best showing of the season. He's running in the number 2 position. And LaRocco has had to pick himself up by his bootstraps several times this year. Started the year hurt, came back, was rounding himself into shape. He got hurt again, and again was rounding himself into shape. Just 1 week ago at a practice accident, put his ankle up to the size of a softball and had to stay off the motorcycle at the St. Petersburg outing, as well as missing a whole week of practice. But it doesn't show right now. LaRocco looks awfully good.
You know, something unfolding here, Larry, that a lot of people may not realize is that even though there is a couple top guys out of contention for this main, and LaRocco is in second, he's riding really good, and this is going to be such a bolster for his confidence. I mean, this is what guys need to help them get back on track after an injury or after a layoff of some sort.
Mike Kudrowski holding down the number 3 position. Now, we talked with Mike Kudrowski earlier about his program and what it would take to get him a little bit closer to the front. And really what Kudrowski said he wanted to do is, well, be consistent. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, I feel that, you know, I'm riding a little bit better. It's halfway through the series, and now's when it shows, you know, to get your best positions, you know, each week. So that's what I'm trying for. I'm going to try to get up on the victory podium every weekend now.
Jean-Michel Bayle out front, Mike LaRocco second, and we're looking at Mike Kudrowski out of Anaheim, California, a member of Team Kawasaki, holding down the number 3 position. Kudrowski, a former 125 outdoor national champ. Guy Cooper, meanwhile, has moved up to the number 4 position, another Suzuki rider, and he is a popular rider no matter where he goes. They call him airtime, they call him showtime, and for good reason. The guy just loves to fly off these big, long, horrendous jumps, and while he's up in the air, I guess he wants to kill a little time because he waves at the crowd, flips it sideways, does all kinds of things. Now, I'm not talking about during the course of normal race activity, but last lap antics when he's leading a heat race, that type thing. One of the more popular riders on the circuit comes out of Oklahoma, the state of Oklahoma, Guy Cooper. Last lap coming up, the white flag. There it is. He's got to go around this Supercross track just one more time, and he'll put victory number 6 for the year in the book. What a year the Frenchman is having. Jean-Michel Bayle, living in Redondo Beach, California. He says one day he's going to go back to France, but I'll tell you what, he's enjoying life, and he gets a little bit more of that Southern California living, and he just may never make it back to his home country of France. And look at that. You know what? For Jean-Michel Bayle, that is, I don't know how to describe it. He shows very little emotion. It's a rarity to see Jean-Michel Bayle wave to the crowd like that. He is one happy guy. He is showing his superiority to the rest of this field, and frankly, I think to the crowd here in the Silverdome, they're seeing what has to be considered the most talented rider in the world right now. I have to think, looking over the field, that Bradshaw is the only guy that can challenge him. Checkered flag time is Jean-Michel Bayle. Hand off the handlebar, whips it sideways, and he takes it. Here comes second place. That'll go to Mike LaRocco out of LaPorte, Indiana for Team Suzuki.
Jean-Michel Bayle takes the win. Mike LaRocco finishes in the number 2 position. Then it was Mike Kudrowski in 3rd, Guy Cooper 4th, rounding out the top 5, Ron Tishner out of Palm Harbor, Florida. Now, those folks think that Jean-Michel Bayle has it all wrapped up. We'll be back to hear from Bayle. Well, just a few moments ago, Jean-Michel Bayle took the checkered flag in the win. Let's go to Wendy Walsh.
Jean-Michel Bayle, this was certainly an eventful night. How did you maintain that composure?
It was a very good race for me, but you know, it was strange in the team because Thunder get hurt in the first heat, so in a team it was not so good because everybody was looking at me like you know, somebody stay here, but I just do my job, go on a race and try to win, and I won again.
Well, tell us, were you having fun out there?
Yeah, it was very good. I have a very good start, and I follow Matiasevich when he crashed. We have a good race, and I think we'll make a good show. It was a nice race today.
Well, thank you. Jean-Michel Bayle, winner of the 250 main tonight in Pontiac, Michigan. And next week it's round 11, also from Pontiac. I'll see you then. Thanks, Larry.
Thank you, Wendy. And Jean-Michel Bayle, with a win here in Pontiac, opens a huge lead in the point standings over Jeff Stanton, who did not ride tonight due to an injured shoulder. Kudrowski in 3rd, Bradshaw 4th, Jeff Ward in 5th. Back to the winner's rostrum. Wendy has run for cover. The champagne is being sprayed, and for good reason.
Marty, an exciting night of racing. Jean-Michel Bale just ran away with it. Is it the end of the series?
It's not the end of the series, Larry. You know, there's been a few riders that have had their problems throughout the series. Bale has not been one of them, so it could happen to him, even though he does have a big points lead.
Room for error is what you're saying. We still got a long way to go in this one, but we don't have far to go to get to the next race because it's a doubleheader right here in Pontiac. So Supercross 91 will continue the Ultimate Challenge 1 week from today right here in Pontiac. For Marty Smith and Wendy Walsh, I'm Larry Myers. So long until next week.